Nobody turns the lights off all at once. That would be too obvious, of course. One click, then another. And because each click is so small, you don't even notice that the room is getting darker and darker. Because the change between one moment and the next is almost nothing. You never really notice that the room got darker. You just stop being able to see clearly. That is lifestyle creep. And I want to tell you something about it that nobody in the personal financial space is actually talking about. Something specifically why ADHD brains are almost set up to miss it entirely. I'll get to that in one moment. I am in this frugal money habits phase in my life right now, and a while ago I started writing down every little expense I made in a month on an Excel sheet. I divided them into different buckets, into food, rent, living costs, yada yada yada. You know the drill. And to really see the numbers right before me, I actually didn't notice that I was spending more than what I earned. So at the end of the month, I actually used my savings account and I didn't even notice that. That moment is what I call a flash of light. No, not that paladin ability in World of Warcraft. And the reason it hit so hard is that everything around you looks so different when you suddenly see how dark the room actually got. Lifestyle creep is when your spending quietly rises to the level of your income without you consciously choosing for it. And there's no one dramatic moment or one big decision with that. That's what makes it creep and not just spending or splurging. Former luxuries become normal and normal becomes your baseline. And then suddenly baseline becomes the minimum where you feel comfortable with. None of that felt like a choice at that time. For most people, lifestyle creep is kind of hard to notice, but for ADHD brains, it's almost entirely impossible to do. And the reason why is called time blindness. And yes, time blindness, I talk a lot about this on my channel. Time blindness is a real thing when you have ADHD. ADHD brains don't experience time like other brains do. There's now and there is not now. And simply that's how it works. Which means gradual change that happens across weeks or even months, we don't really see that. It barely registers in our brain. And the dimmer switch clicks at exactly the speed your brain is least equipped to detect. For example, not really money related at all. But when I have something planned, it can be a meeting or an event later in the day, the moment waiting to go to that event or to go to a meeting is literally stressful for me. And that time before, I just don't know what to do. I can't plan another activity. I don't know what to do because the thing that needs to happen, the event, or the meeting is happening now in my brain. This pattern I have makes me just wait for hours while not doing anything else. It's honestly very frustrating to deal with that, but that's just how my brain works. I literally can't plan anything else because I'm so afraid to miss the actual meeting, because I'm so in the moment that I might forget what was planned. So it's kind of a weird feedback loop I have in myself. And I know this has nothing to do with lifestyle creep in general, but this is kind of a way to explain this time blindness. This time blindness is kind of important for the point I want to make. So, if gradual change is the mechanism and time blindness is the reason why you can't see it, what does it actually look like day by day? Because it never comes in one form. If it came in one form, it would be easy to eliminate. I noticed that it most of the time comes in 3 forms, and one of them is almost specifically designed to target an ADHD brain, so it makes it even harder. And you can see those forms as clicks on the dimmer. You dim the light in clicks in different stages. Individually, kind of invisible, but together it becomes a room you can barely see in. Most of the time it starts with something reasonable, a better version of what you already have. Better coffee, better phone, a better chair. Oh, I work from home, so yeah, I should definitely buy a new desk. And each upgrade feels earned, logical, a small improvement. But here's the thing, an upgrade doesn't stay an upgrade. It becomes the normal, and normal, once it is set in stone, it's very hard to walk back from that. Because walking back feels genuinely like losing something, even if you only had it for 3 months. For example, for me this is coffee. Last year I bought myself an espresso machine and now I can't even drink just normal filtered coffee. I kind of don't like the taste anymore. The Nespresso machine, for example, becomes even a non-negotiable in my house. At my job, where I work as an educator for kids with ADHD, and I have a coffee machine there. It's like a filter machine. I even upgraded my coffee machine to an espresso machine. So it's starting to creep in those little expenses. We have also the subscription, and this one is very tricky if you have an ADHD brain, because most of the time subscriptions are bought in a dopamine spike. The moment of maximum interest, maximum enthusiasm, but after a while we lose this enthusiasm and we also forget about those subscriptions running in the background. And it's not because you chose not to cancel it. No, it's just because you forget that the subscription is even running. Because canceling it means you should remember it. And for me, out of sight is out of mind. For example, for me, I let my gym membership run for almost 1 year straight without even going to the gym. I had replaced my gym with an outdoor gym at my home, which is more based around calisthenics. I didn't know I was paying €32 a month for a gym membership I didn't use. And if I added up all those months I didn't go, I literally paid €384 just for nothing. It was money I threw out of the window. And remember, this is on top of the upgrades you already have. Each one is its own click and you didn't hear or see any of them. And then we come to click number 3, the last click, the convenience. And honestly for me this is the quietest one. It's not really a thing you buy, it's a friction you remove. Ordering instead of cooking, taking a taxi instead of the bus, driving a car instead you go with a bike, or even the delivery fee you don't even ask a question about. And for an ADHD brain, convenience isn't laziness. It's just a coping mechanism. The problem is that those coping strategies have running costs. And those costs also quietly compounds in the background while you're busy managing everything else in your life. A while ago, I bought myself a nice racing bike. And I wanted to use it to drive to my job. Because in Belgium we have like a system where you get paid to go with your bike. Every kilometer you have a certain amount of cents you get per kilometer. So it was clear, it was a triple win. I didn't need to spend money on my car. I didn't need to use my car, so also no gas costs. And I got even money for it from my job. Especially in those times with the high gas prices, this was a clear no-brainer for me. So did I already go with my bike? Honestly, just one time. Yeah, I'm not proud of that, but I just went one time with my bike to my job. And the rest of the time I just use my car. Taking the car is just so much more convenient and I'm still in this struggle. My mind is also constantly running those lame ass excuses to not go by bike. Well, it's too hot. No, I can't go because it's raining. I don't have a proper rain jacket. Remember I said why ADHD brains miss this and what to do about it? Here's the second half of that. If you can't gradually notice this lifestyle creep, the subscriptions, the upgrades, and the convenience, gradually is exactly what your brain doesn't detect. What you need is a sudden burst of light, kind of a bright moment, a flash of light where you see the dark room you've been in for your entire time. A flash of light to show you the room as it actually is, not the version your brain slowly has adjusted to. For me, this is my monthly money audit. I have an Excel sheet right in front of me. Every month I try to put in all my costs. I take my bank app and I put every cost into the Excel sheet. Like this, I can see my expenses very clearly and my income. And then when you see the difference between your income and your expenses, that's when the moment hits you. That's kind of that flash of light for me. And a lot of budgeting or financial advice really doesn't work for me, because check your spending regularly is not so concrete. It assumes you can feel this gradual change. You can't, or I can't. So don't even try to check gradually. Build a flash. For example, once a month. This is maybe a bit too much. If you don't like doing that, you can maybe take a quarter or once a year even. And turning the dimmer back up doesn't mean returning to your older self. There's a difference between spending on things that you actually value and spending that just accumulated while you weren't watching. One is a clear choice, and the other is called lifestyle creep. The goal isn't less, it's just more deliberate. For me, for example, I really like to spend my money on not on materialistic stuff. This I don't really care about. It doesn't give me value. I forget even that it exists sometimes. So for me, spending money to that is kind of pointless and useless. So what I really like spending money on is events, social events with my friends, going to a bar, not especially to drink alcohol, but to meet up with people, going to trance festivals. This is where I get alive. This is where I feel my inner fire is burning. And that's what I really, really like. Will this add value to my life? And probably if it's something practical you bought, yes, it will. But is this really what makes you alive? Having a new coffee machine probably doesn't make you feel really alive. It makes you just awake in the morning. Pick one category yourself, just one, food, convenience, or subscriptions, and go find out what you actually spent on it last month. Not to feel especially bad about it. It's just to switch the light on. And tell me down in the comments what was your flash of light moment. And maybe you have a different strategy like I have. It can work for me, this strategy of the Excel sheet or writing it down, but maybe for you it doesn't help at all. I really would like to know what's working for you, because I also don't know it all, really not. Like, I'm kind of a noob in this myself, so I would gladly learn from you also. But also, which category are you the most afraid to look at? And that one is probably the one you want to take a look at. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next.